Hello, everybody! As you probably know, it's the Red Mage Crow. And welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, the Trilogy one. First portion of the trilogy, basically game numero uno, where we come back to episode number 3 of game number uno, in which this one's going to be about the Steel Samurai and the guy who plays it. But we're gonna change things up a little bit. Hopefully I'm not too close to the mic. I'm gonna push it away a little bit. Anyways, so, if anything, I'm sorry about all the missing of the uploads. Life has been getting rather difficult, and I have been having my fair share of problems. But I'm going to try to fix that, but just know that if anything, if I am missing a couple of days, it's going to be mainly due to the simple fact that I have a lot to work on, really. And that, you know, I have to come first in order for me to relatively make you guys content. All 2 or 3 of you. For now, that is. Gotta start somewhere. But, yeah, anyways. So, you guys can relatively read as I talk, if anything. So, you know, I don't know if this is going to be distracting, so I want you guys to relatively, you know, let me know down in the comments whether or not this was interesting or whether or not this, you know, if you want me to relatively focus more on the, you know, describing the game with the in-game commentary instead of the outside commentary, if that makes sense. Anyway, I digress! So, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Namely, I wanted to talk about E3. And a couple of things that I'm relatively hyped about. Like, if anything, you know, one, I am hyped about Final Fantasy VII. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am really big fan of Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy VII was my very first Final Fantasy game. It looks amazing. And, you know, friggin' Tifa, amazing. Barrett, kind of different from what he originally looked like, but good, amazing. Cloud, amazing. I kind of miss their really long legs, though, but I can understand they want to go with a more realistic approach. So, the game is looking amazing. It seems like they might be adding a little bit more to the game, because I did see a couple of scenes that I don't remember being in the game? Question mark? But, you know, that's also relatively okay, too. Like, if anything, I'm kind of interested to see how the game has changed and, you know, how it stayed the same. So that's going to mean that I'm going to have to explore a little bit more to see what's different and to see what's similar. So I can relatively, you know, appreciate that. All the while, you know, I also want to work on my commentary, because I know for, you know, a while, I've been noticing for a while that I use a lot of conjunction words that are kind of dead or that I overuse. And so I want to relatively focus on not necessarily on not doing what I just did in that moment. So, what else am I looking forward to in E3? Other than the Final Fantasy VII game, which still, I gotta remind you guys, looks amazing. Let's see, there was also, I mean, I didn't pay attention to most of Square Enix's little thing that they did. Although I'm still waiting on that Crystal Chronicles. I want that game back. I played it when I was a kid, and I could never understand it, but it was such an intriguing game concept, and I didn't find out how to correctly play it until the final day that I relatively had to return. What on the final day that I had to return the game because it was a rental. Didn't know whether or not I was gonna like it, but once I found out, I was like, "Wow, this game is actually pretty good. Would be better with 4 players, in which it's on the Switch. It should be easy to get 4 players to play with you on that game. So I'm looking forward to that. Whenever the heck that comes out. I'm pretty sure there's a date somewhere. Maybe they released a video. I'm gonna have to dig deeper for that. And with that being said, you know, one, I didn't see too much of the Square Enix, but I saw a heck of a lot of Nintendo. So we're going to save Pokemon for the second half of this video. Namely because there's a lot to relatively go through. My likes, my dislikes, and, you know, why it's okay, and, you know, some of the questionable things that are going on with that. So, first things first. Let's go with Animal Crossing. Now, the Animal Crossing game is looking mighty clean. The graphics are looking kind of iffy to me. Like, it looks good, but it looks too saturated, I think would the correct wording would technically be for that. Because it just looks very bright, very out there. And, you know, Tom Nook is at his antics again, making you pay a ridiculous fee. But overall, it's coming for the Switch. So it's going to be portable. It's on a main console, so there better be a lot of new stuff that they couldn't do with the original DS. Like, I think I saw like 8 or so people in that game, so maybe that's going to be where the limitations come from. And it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. My only problem is that I'm not someone who can commit to playing a game every single day. Not unless I'm forced. So, you know, Animal Crossing is one of those games where the main issue I always had was that even if I wanted to keep a villager, like, let's go with Chevrolet. Chevrolet. Let's go with Cherry, because Chevrolet is a little bit more difficult to, you know, state. I don't even know if that's how you say her name. Somebody correct me down in the comments below if I'm saying it wrong, which I'm about 40% sure that I am saying it wrong. But yeah, let's say that I like Cherry. I love Cherry. I love how gothic she is and how cool she is. Well, in the 3DS version, I had her, and what had happened was that I told her, she told me that she wanted to move. I told her, don't do that, I love you. And then she was like, okay, I won't move then, okay. And then, all of a sudden, I come back the very next day and she's gone. I was decimated. And I was sad. And, you know, all this other type of feelings that were just making me really confused and whatnot. And I don't want them to do that. I want them to fine-tune it. I don't want villagers to move if I tell them not to. If I like somebody, why should they move if I like somebody? You know what I mean? I don't want my villagers to move if I like them. Like, sure, you know, I'll, you know, kick out a rat or two. A couple of rats can stay. But other than that, you know, if I don't like somebody, you know, they should go away. If I like somebody, they should stay. That should be how it is, but it isn't in, you know, the 3DS one at the very least. And I want them to, it seems like they're making crafting into it too, which means it's gonna be like kind of like a survival-esque kind of game where you gotta like gather stuff and then make stuff, but it's not relatively survival because that's not what Animal Crossing is. I would honestly love it if they made it a little bit more like Harvest Moon. Like, where you have to eat food, get your energy up, and you had to craft things and whatnot. In Harvest Moon, you didn't relatively craft stuff, but you basically got other people to craft it for you. You know what I mean. Anyways, so with Animal Crossing out of the way, let's talk Legend of Zelda. Cause, whoo boy, Legend of Zelda. Just so you know, this is like a couple of days after E3, so I'm letting you guys know that right now. It's just a couple of days. I don't remember if it was honestly a part of the Nintendo one. I don't know why I'm forgetting, but like I'm pretty sure it was a part of E3, because that's the only event that came around. But oh my god, the new Breath of the Wild is looking fantabulous. Fantabulous! It looks good, and if anything, there are a lot of rumors going around. People are saying, like, I'm hearing, oh, that's Ganondorf, oh, that's Demise, and I'm like, it can't be Demise. He's a spirit, a god, his body has been destroyed, he lives on as the... Ganondorf is basically the body, and Demise is his spirit, or something or other. It can't be Demise. It has to be Ganon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you like that sort of jazz. If you like, Legend of Zelda. Let me know what you think. But a couple of interesting things that I, thought. The music was weird. Play that crud back. I want to know what that is. I'll probably find a video sometime soon, but, don't expect me to be posting it anywhere. And then, if anything, at the very end, instead of whatever was falling, Hyrule Castle, I say whatever it is, but it was Hyrule Castle. Instead of Hyrule Castle falling down, it looks like the island was being raised up. Now, the thing about, the island being raised up was that there was only one other game where something like that actually happened. And what game was that? Well, guess what? It was Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword was basically that one game where everything was in the sky. When Demise was being, demise and, sealed and whatnot, the islands were up top. Goddess's influence or something along those lines. And then, once Demise was gone, everything kind of like fell back down. Or at least that's what I'm assuming. So, I can see why some people would think it's Demise if they're linking it with the, island floating upwards. I still think it's Ganondorf. I think that maybe Zelda reawakened her, goddess, spiritual, whatever the doohickey that she's doing in Breath of the Wild. Because if anything, with Great Threat coming back, maybe the islands are getting raised in order to defend against such danger. I think, for one, it's Ganondorf, and if anything, if the islands are getting raised, we're gonna have to go get, I think it's called Meadow, the little flying divine beast and whatnot. So, and we're probably going to have to use that to get around everywhere, maybe something or other. Also, I would like it if we had like new champions or something. That'd be nice too. Did we talk about the symbols floating around the mummified looking body? In which, it's a mummified body, maybe that is Ganondorf after all. But I think that the symbols could definitely be Gerudo. I've never looked at the Gerudo language. I don't know if it's the Gerudo language. But yeah, it could definitely be Gerudo, maybe. I don't know. So there is always that. I honestly think it's Ganondorf. And you know what? Real quick, because we're probably running out of time. I'll try to see if I can edit the video in such a way where maybe, you know, it would fit for the most part. But let's talk real quick on Smash Brothers, because that was also a really big one too. When it came down to Smash Brothers, we got 2 new characters revealed. We got Dragon Quest main protagonists. I say protagonists because you can change costumes and become a different protagonist. Now, if anything, I don't really care for Dragon Quest protagonist. I've never played a Dragon Quest game in my life. I mean, I played a little bit of Joker, but other than that, you know, I never relatively got into it. Other than, you know, the whole build the world. Dragon Quest Builders. I love Dragon Quest Builders, but other than that, I've never really played a Dragon Quest game. And if anything, I would very much like to do that. I would very much like to play Dragon Quest at some point in my life. So, you know, if you guys are hyped for him, let me know in the comments down below. I'm particularly not. Especially when he seems like he is going to be mostly kind of like a Robin-esque character. Which makes me sad because I like Robin, but you know, I digress. But the second character, I think I want to main that character because I can't seem to play my Roy anymore. Which is very sad to me. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is in Smash. Oh my god, it looks so good. Banjo-Kazooie looks so good. I'm just glad they didn't go with the nuts and bolts version. Thank you, Nintendo. Thank you. And you know, maybe that's gonna mean big things for Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie just looks really amazing. And I don't care if, you know, Banjo-Kazooie is top tier. I don't care if it's low tier. I'm gonna pick that guy up. But if anything, that's all we're gonna have for this specific episode for today. So I'm gonna get ready for the next one. I'll see you then. We're gonna talk about Pokemon, guys. Bye!